Ashraf Garda Show.
Well, 2 more days for this show as we get to the end of Ramadan, which means we're just about at the end of that long month-long session. The last week or so, we've had this series called Al-Aqsa Watch, and it's been premised on the fact that many South Africans, in particular, were spending time at Al-Aqsa in the Al-Quds or Jerusalem area, and exploring the greater Palestinian region. And we thought it's an important issue that we just highlight. So it started with chatting to Tasneem Fredericks, and it's been really, really fascinating since then. So my latest guest is Firdoze Bulbulia. There's lots of things we've spoken about to her before around her production work at Moments Entertainment and a whole lot more. We won't talk about that now. We're going to talk about Al-Aqsa. So Firdoze, good chatting to you and thanks for your time. Salaam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Ashraf. Wonderful to be talking.
Okay, so you've heard my intro about focusing on Al-Aqsa. So what about you? Why Al-Aqsa? Why are you there now?
I was actually coming to Palestine to meet with the Palestine Film Lab people. As you know, we run the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival. And I wanted to have a connection with the Palestine Film Lab to see how we can work together with the festival, but also to continue on to Jordan to meet the director and producers of the film Farha, which, as you might know, was the Jordanian entry for the Oscars. I saw the film in Sharjah at the Sharjah Children's Film Festival, and we were keen to see how we could collaborate.
Okay, and that was your business reason for being there, but at the same time, you then obviously spent time at the Al-Aqsa Masjid, right?
Yes. So what had happened when I checked with the partners, they said to me, "Well, why don't you come in around about April? It is springtime. The weather is better. It should be fun." And I thought, well, that's amazing because it would be the end of Ramadan. So let us use, the last few days of Ramadan here and then continue on to the work that we need to do. So it all worked out so well. I am here with colleagues so that we move on to do the business side of things. But I have to tell you, Ashraf, coming here has been spectacular. It's been amazing. All the fears, I really wanted to talk to you really about how we can demystify and probably break down the fears that people feel and this kind of overwhelming concern about travel.
Okay, well, please go ahead. Yeah, tell us.
We took the train. A friend of mine who is Palestinian and I'd met several years ago at a film festival. When I checked with him, I was, saying, how would we get from the airport to East Jerusalem? And he said, take a train. And then when I checked with lots of people who actually bring groups, none of them really knew about the train. And they were, a train? Why would you take a train? Well, I have to say to you, it was so easy. It's a 25-minute train ride from Tel Aviv airport straight into Jerusalem, and then we took a taxi to East Jerusalem.
Okay, fascinating. And I know you've just sort of arrived there. Am I right? Yesterday, late last night? Yeah.
We arrived late last night. Of course, the traffic was quite busy coming in. I think the guy said to us, it's like 100 meters, and this is taking us half an hour, whereas your whole trip probably took half an hour. It is packed. Yeah. There's a vibe. It is energetic. There is the area. I suppose I don't know what people assume or what we expect when we come into this holy land, but you're quite pleasantly surprised, as I was, because life happens. People have to continue living. So all the energy, all the excitement, all the preparation for Eid, the clothing stores, every shop is busy. There's sounds of festivity in the streets, lots to eat. We had a wonderful shawarma last night. I have to say, though, that things are pretty expensive. The money, I think if we were to compare, it's probably 5 times the rand. So people need to consider that it's not a cheap trip. It's an expensive trip.
Yeah. Point well taken. And I suppose you haven't been at the Al-Aqsa compound as yet, right? I mean, you're probably going to go there for Dhuhr prayers, yeah?
No, I have been there this morning. Okay. So you should have some shots of the dome. I sent quite a few pictures to Nasreen.
Yeah, there's some beautiful pictures, and she's posting it now. Yeah.
Okay, this is part of the complex as you come in. Of course, there is the checkpoint. We were very lucky. There was one checkpoint, and there were no challenges coming through. There was a young Palestinian gentleman who was held kind of against the wall. I'm wondering also, Ashraf, if some of this isn't, it almost because we are creatives and we are theatre people and film people, that so much of it lends itself to a creativity, almost a performance, almost like we have to have this moment, both around what it is, but also in the celebration of being here, listening to the voices and the sounds, listening to children. Children are playing football. They've all got balls. They're all kicking a ball. Life is happening, and that, I think, is the excitement of it. That in between all of what we are doing, in our rush to get to the mosque, to take our pictures, to really come into the.
Okay, we seem to be losing you now with reception, just so that your words are skipping, and hopefully it'll get better in a moment. But I mean, if I can hear what you're saying, what do you tell a person when you explain to say, you've got, let's take the focus on the Palestinians here. You got them. You're in Jerusalem. There's oppression all around you. The whole area has been colonized, as you know. There's a military presence at the compound that everybody has mentioned, right? And there to intimidate. And yet, in the midst of all of that, life does actually happen. So when people say, "Well, you see, they're living their normal lives, and they're cool," what do you tell people like that?
Ashraf, I think we lost each other very briefly. I heard you say about normal lives. Are we talking about the young kiddies in the
Yeah, I'm
alleyways?
saying that. Yeah, that's correct. So what do you tell people when you tell them that, I mean, this is a place that is actually colonized, that there's oppression taking place there, and yet in the midst of that, there's still a sense of normality in the abnormality.
And I think that is really the mysticism and the magic of it all, isn't it? Is that we all have to cope with what our circumstances are. And so these young kids are playing football. They're kicking a ball. They're running down the alleys. They're almost stoat, as we would say. Naughty little children running around, doing their thing, teasing us, or almost making us trip. And I was saying to Khadija, who was with me, Katie Mohammed, I was saying, look, this is life. This is how we were. Ashraf, you will appreciate this. I feel like I'm in Fitas as a
Yeah.
little,
Okay. Yeah.
looking at the stores, looking at the shoes and the clothing. It's all of that. It's that magic, that energy, that buzz that is happening with local people. And then there's all of us as visitors. Wow, there's it, the dome. As visitors
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
here, that you've prepared yourself in a particular way. This is a holy space. That the prophets walk this land, and that there is an it's a strange kind of emotion that overtakes you. I felt it. I was overwhelmed for a moment. I could feel your heart is beating faster, and you're thinking, my goodness, I'm treading the same ground. I'm looking at these olive trees that were here for centuries, really. I'm
Mm.
sitting up these stairs. I'm walking this path, as many other thousands of other people are doing. And then there is we call them khivlak, the naughtiness, the funniness of kiddies, of just being children, which is just so special, especially for us from the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival, is that you want to know that you're connecting with children on a childlike, child-friendly, child environment. And that's precisely what it is. I also have to tell you that we put some really delicious nuts and sesame seed. It's just like there's so much food, there's so much joy. And I wanted to say it's almost somehow as if time stood still. Because if you look, I mean, my joke is always, wherever I travel, is like China has just, taken over. So whether you see it in the kind of clothing that you see, or the chimples, the shoes, the plastic that is just inundated, and every store has it. But then in between it is the local, traditional, authentic food, juice. Last night we had really fresh juices, pomegranate juice in particular. So it those tastes and flavors. It's just the wonder of in this multicultural mix of interacting with so many people, and at age that is amazing. When we came through Tel Aviv airport, numbers of children that people have. I counted one lady had 7 children, and they must have aged between 14 and right now a couple of months. Just they look like they're a year apart. Just so many children, and it's almost as if people here in the side of the world really love and treasure children. I came into Palestine, felt exactly the same thing. There are so many young children and young parents. So it gives you hope. It gives you the energy that life continues, that we will all, we will come and we will go, and life will perpetuate and continue. I'm actually sitting in my hotel room. I'm continuing talking because I can't hear you. So I'm hoping that your guests can hear me. I'm sitting in my hotel room, and I wanted to say about this as well. I'm staying at the National Hotel. It's very close by to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, within walking distance. Everything is close by. But the reality is that it's not cheap. I think we're paying over 5,000 Rand a night for a room, a very basic room. Everything is here. It's, but it's not lavish. And so part, I think, of what you're doing when you come here is that you're supporting the local economy. You're hoping that people are benefiting from your visit, from your stay, and that there is such a generosity. Everybody comes up and they're like, you're from Africa, you're from South Africa. A gentleman said this morning to me, are you from Cape Town, the good place? And I said, no. South Africa, think of Johannesburg, that's where the buzz is. Of course, I'm from Johannesburg, and that's what I'm saying. And then, the streets get really busy. People are awake until Fajr. So they go right through from Iftar, and the stores are open. I've been told that everything will be buzzing. Now it's almost time. We're getting ready for the Zohar prayer. So it is a little bit quieter now. The streets are quieter. I wanted to turn my camera around from my window. Maybe you'd be able to see, but we're not able to talk. So I'm not quite sure how much of what I am saying and sharing is being shared. But this is a little bit of what I can see from the view from my room. And I'll turn back to myself. Here I am in my room, in my bedroom. Ashraf, are you able to hear me? If not,